Well, to be honest, I'm dealing with the firm quite well now. There's a few different production companies approached me. The friend requests on Facebook, I'm just inundated with them, like. I still have a blue tick next to my name on the Instagram or whatever it is.
You know, it's a really nice job being on your combine, but then getting that bit of variety, you know, the odd day sat on the baler or the odd day going mowing, and it's a nice break and it's a nice change. You're not constantly sat on the same seat in the same field, I suppose. You're getting up and down the dale and out and about as such.
So anybody young starting today, I would say, if you love the outdoors, you love variety, go for it. It's a good lifestyle. The wife might tell you different.
Good boy, stay away from them bad girls, yeah.
I'm Nick Mogridge, been Metcalfe's 21 years now. Basically now I run the combining side of the operation, also the potatoes operation that we do, and also parts deliveries. We have that many units going left, right and centre. We have to try and keep everybody going best we can. Today we're silaging at customers today. 2 balers, baling, barley straw. We've got all 3 combines out, 3 Lexion, 6 800s, all cutting oilseed rape today. And once again, it's usual story, everything's ready together. But we've nearly finished cutting the winter barley. A lot of the winter barley and the oilseed rape was sprayed off together. A very normal start, to be honest, if not slightly earlier, which was a very big surprise for all of us, because after the very tragic sort of growing season that all these crops have had this year with the wet weather and the wet winter, I thought it would have pushed things back, but I think basically the crops just got that stressed and it's just decided that we've had enough, let's be cut. You know, I do believe that. So realistically, it's been a good season up to now. We're going to, in the next couple of days, we'll get the oilseed rape cut that we've got to cut. The winter barley will be cut, and I think there'll be a bit of a lull between there and the wheat, because as far as I can see, the wheat's 3 weeks away if anyone's business. We're busy here cutting our own, and like I say, the other 2 are out on contract. We contract farm this, it's about 600 acres of arable. This place in particular, they have nothing, they just have the land. We supply all of the equipment, the men, they supply the seed and the inputs, and we put them on. It seems as though it fits in for places. As you know, machinery is very expensive these days, there's staffing problems and issues. You know, so if you're only arable and you've only got a window of short work, sometimes for a vast expenditure it's easier to get someone in to come and do it for you.
So, 24th of July, we're here at one of the farms that we combine for, one of our bigger arable customers. I think they'll be sort of knocking on the door of 1,000 acre. We do the spraying, drilling and combining here up to now. It's the first field of oilseed rape that we're cutting for them today. It's a variety called PT303, which I've never had out to do with before. It is coming off about in the 10%, so it's to dry. The customer actually has their own dryer anyway, so they can sort of maybe do it a bit cheaper than if it went straight to a merchant to be done. It'd want to be 9% or below, 6 to 9. I think if you go below 6, you can get penalties for the oil bonuses and such. It gets too dry. So 6 to 9 is your window. A lot of the times nowadays it doesn't get to that really. 2022 was a good year. Obviously that was like when we had that really long heat wave, didn't we? A lot of stuff came off dry. Well, in fact, that was a year people were cutting this stuff through the night to get some moisture back into it. But yeah, we're on with this. This is the only field at this particular farm at the moment. The other stuff's getting caught up a bit with its roundup. So probably move to the other farm to start cutting some more rape. There'll be 80 to 90 acre there, and then it'll be back here again to finish the rape off. But yeah, overall not too bad. Yields aren't massive. I think this one will be doing maybe about 1.5 tons, which given everything it's had to do, you know, with the flea beetle pressure, a wet winter, you know, it never stopped raining with us from October last year well into this spring. I would say it's respectable, but it's just one of them really. So especially here, the future of rape's just a bit uncertain. There was another patch here the other year that got really done over by beetle, but the farmer is he really does love the oilseed rape because it pays well and it's just a good break crop, and he's grown it for that long. I just think maybe something else would be a bit different, really.
We have 3 Class Lexion 6800s with 9.3 Vario headers on, all identical apart from the man that sat in the seat. All set up full CMOS. It makes it easier to manage. If you've got different ones, which we have in the past, some customer says, oh, I want that combine and I want that combine and I want that person and this, that and the other. Well, now we decided just to make life so much easier, we'll have them all alike, absolutely identical from the man sat in the seat. So, and it's easier for the operators because, like myself, I don't drive one full time, but Luke, who normally drives this combine, he's actually sat on a baler. So he's baling. I've come to just see what this is like because the moisture was too high yesterday, so we're just testing it. I think it'll go today easily enough. But it's just so much easier. You can just jump on and every button's in the right place. High capacity straw walker combine. It's the biggest that Class do. Go straw walker as opposed to rotary because we're in a very straw orientated part of the country and people value the straw exceptionally. You know, we can still cut 100 acres a day easy enough in standing weight. You know, and to me, you're not doing so bad if you're doing that.
So I'm Luke, we're just outside of Labourn near Patrick Brompton. We're just 20 minutes away from sort of what we'd call home where the yard is. So we've been baling some barley straw today, done about 100 acres up to now. So next job's moved down Dale a bit more, there's another 120 acres to go at. Do a bit of all sorts really, so done a couple of days on the baler this year. Mainly drive third combine, which isn't out today. Do a bit of mowing as well, so a bit of everything really, a good bit of variety. Yeah, I'm here full time, so I've been here for nearly 5 years now. Yeah, time's getting on really. Yeah, working here, they look after you, they treat you right. Yeah, whatever you want really, they'll try and do it best for you, and they never see you stuck either if anything goes wrong. Nothing's ever a bother for them. You know, everyone works together, I suppose. And you know, Nick's obviously sat on a combine today, and if he has to jump in and go and do stuff, he's more than willing to go and do that. And work, everything's very well organised. It's very rarely there's any miscommunication or out like that. It all just seems to go together like clockwork.
So this is the Lexion 6800 with the CMOS auto fitted. This one I'm on, this is the one I drive most years. Well, I do drive it most years. It's a 21, so this came 2021, so it'll be its fifth season. Maths wasn't my strong point. But yeah, very good. Such a massive step from the other ones. The other ones weren't bad at all. I generally think they are one of the, well, they're only combined to have. I know there's many different makes, but I wouldn't like to think I was cutting without else. But yeah, so this one, it's one of the straw walker models. It's a six straw walker wide body. There is one above it which is the 6.9, but there's only 50 horsepower separating the two. And she has 4 drums in it. I think they call it Synflow now, so there's 4 drums inside now. You've got your APS drum, which is an accelerator, onto your main bigger diameter thrashing drum, a secondary drum, and then the impeller onto the walkers. Straw walkers are a lot shorter on here on these newer models because I think they've realised that they maybe with the more attacking aggressive front, you don't actually need to hold on to the croppers more on the walkers, so it's a case of, well, if the front can take it, we need to get it out the back quick. They've done it well, up to now, touch wood, I've probably kicked myself, up to now no issues, and again, matched with the autos, there's not a lot you can really do to hurt it. I mean, you could be talking another 1.5 to 2 miles an hour faster than the old girls. It's quick. So we have on a Vario 930, so that's a 30-foot header. I think, I've been led to believe it is a 9.3 cutting width, then you'll have a bit more for your guards. I was under the understanding it's just 30-foot, 9.3 overall with guards. Very impressed with it. These are like the slightly newer Varios to what we used to have. Fairly impressed. I think they've actually given the knife a bit more angle, so if you're inlaid stuff you can pick it up. But yeah, there's nothing it's not been able to do. I think the biggest thing for me with these now is the new side knives. The direct drive, whereas the other ones used to be hydraulic. There's no pipes, obviously, it just connects in onto a coupler. on the side of the header. They have more power to them now, we've been told. I've never ever seen them stop. We used to be on 25-foot headers. We've gone to 30, which I think they're big enough now. They're big enough for gate holes, getting around the roads, and they match the combine well. But like again, we're not just on flat land all the time, so trying to get into them dip holes and over rises, it works well. No field's the same. It is easier now with these combines, these newer generation ones. We have got the full automatics fitted to these, which the class calls CMOS Auto. I could tell you what CMOS stands for, but I've forgotten myself. But basically, it's like a fully automatic system that the combine will read the crop. As soon as it's gone in the front, the combine's monitoring the crop from front to back, down to clean, how clean the grain is, how full it is, how hard or easy it's thrashing it, to the cleaning of the sieves. It's continuously looking at it all. However, I mean, a lot of people say, well, you're not an operator, or you're not a driver. You've still got to be here to let it know what you want to achieve, and you've still got to tell it what sort of strategy you want. That can all be different. You don't know until you get into a field. In here there's a bit of laid, which means it's sort of not really going into the combine presented like sort of nice. You'll end up braying it up a bit. There was a few bits of stalk getting chopped up and falling into the tank, so I sort of told the combine I wanted a bit smoother thrashing. The pods are all ripe. I wanted smoother thrashing, which it then opened. It's concave slightly, and it maybe give it a bit more wind or altered maybe the top sieve. In terms of speed, it sorts that itself, judging off the crop. Once it's got something inside it, it can then work out the load, the amount of crop in the drum, in the trunking, and also it'll then line up your losses, how full the combine is. It's always trying to get you the most throughput it can, and I run this on maximum throughput with monitored losses, so I can tell it sort of what I'm aiming for loss-wise, and then after that it'll do the rest and match the speed accordingly to the crop. It's forever up and down. You couldn't sort of say, I'm going to be in this field doing 2 miles an hour. It won't happen, because sometimes you'll be doing 3, sometimes you'll be doing 1.5. It knows something that you haven't maybe just quite seen yet. I do think there's an element with it knowing how much is going in the front. There's an element of anticipation. So you'll be thinking this is great. It's actually saying, whoa, we need to just slow down a bit here. Your losses have gone right up, so I'm going to pull you back to where you said you wanted me. So speed, yeah, it constantly varying all day, as is all the settings of the combine. You could look, you could take a picture of where you started, and by the end of the day you'll think, well, how did I ever get to that setting? But equally on a night, you see, I know with the old combines, you get to night, so you'd start nipping the concave up just to make sure it was whacking it out as stuff became damper and whatnot. Whereas now, you sort of see this and it's still at where it was, if not wide, and you think, have I been causing myself a lot of late nights in the past by, ultimately making it slower? But yeah, very, very good system. How someone's designed it as well, it's just like a full system of algorithms and everything. It's quite mind-blowing, but that's probably why they're doing that and I'm the one using it. We will get to a point, well it already is, isn't it, that you won't need anyone sat here. It'll be a sad day when we're all just sat in corner at field with a laptop, but my laptop skills aren't very good. It's a long time since I had to use. I can do most things with these screens and the tractor screens, but put a laptop in front of me, no, it's a different job altogether. Yeah, so on this is my main sort of page, my main run page for when I'm cutting. You've sort of got your loss monitors at the bottom. You've got a throughput, which is basically how full the combine is. You've got walker losses, sieve losses, and these are your returns. So this is what's coming off your bottom sieve back round to the combine to have another go, and it'll re-thrash it. It's just stuff that's made it to the end of the bottom sieve, basically. It hasn't dropped through into the auger. But it also tells you how much of that's clean and how much of that's cracked or broken grain in your returns. This is the CMOS. The strategy here, so I've told it to go, I want slightly smoother thrashing, and I'm willing to let it make the sample slightly muckier because it was spotless before, and spotless corn is generally running the sieves a bit tighter. So I thought, well, let's have them opened up. It's off to a dryer, it will get rid of some stuff, and rape, oilseed rape, I think you're allowed a 2% admixture anyway, so there's no point trying to send it back over when you can still get paid on it. There's got to be a bit of compromise, I think, sometimes. We're all right at the minute, but in a wet year, if your days are limited to combining and you want dry corn in the shed, you're going to have to accept that the combine's capacity does come in a form of a slight loss. I sort of work with the farmers, or try to. I don't mind little losses if there have to be. I don't like a lot, but I don't think anyone really does. I mean, at the end of the day, you grow it to put it in the shed. But in a challenging time, I think when you need to get on, you need to get on. But ultimately, as far as that, just a tidy field, really. Laid bits try to get picked back up. Just try and look like you've done it. It is nice looking back over a field and thinking, well, that looks all right, that. And bother is as well, it could be me that has to come back into the field to then start cultivating it. And if I've made it hard for myself, it's to do, it's just going to make the job even harder. So, yeah, try to do it as if I was coming back to it. Sometimes I am coming back to it after with the next process. But just try, just sort of explain what you're trying to achieve. If we did have the next 3 months as nice warm weather, there wouldn't be much pressure on. You could probably have a bit of an easier time, but you don't know. The problem is you want stuff in shed. And if you've only got 3 days to do that, well, you're going to have to start doing things that makes it happen. But I think the thing is with it, the combines aren't out for a lot of the year, and they're only getting bigger, way bigger now with the combines. You've got to make most of it while you can, because they're soon back in shed and you're just looking at them.
Yeah, so like today, this morning, I was just in the workshop getting bits ready, and then obviously when time was right and the sun come out, it was time to go, so Dan would just ring up and tell us where we need to go, what we need to do. I suppose with baling and combine, it's more of a job of you come in at a certain time, because you're not going to be on straight away on a morning because it's due, so you come in and get serviced up and whatever else you need to do, blown off, so then you're just ready to go for whenever that time's right, really. Yeah, so it's class 5300 quadrant. It's a good baler. They've got 2 this season. Well, we always have 2, and yeah, no, it seems to be able to push bales out for fun, really. So they're 8-foot bales today, 6 banders. So yeah, no, do 7 foots. Like people that want hay, we sort of do 7 foots for. A bit smaller, but a lot of the straw men sort of want 8 foots, really. Yeah, you can adjust the size of the bale and obviously try and get as much pressure in as possible not for everybody's party, really, for the farmer's sake, I suppose. It's really easy to operate. It's on Isobus, so it's there in front of you all the time, and it tells you if it's dropped a band or you run out of string or anything simple like that. It's straight up on the screen, really, telling you what's gone wrong. And it's easy to fix as well. It's a 2-second job, really. It's a really nice job being on your combine, but then getting that bit of variety, the odd day sat on the baler or the odd day going mowing and stuff like that, it breaks it up, and you don't often get, it's a nice break and it's a nice change. You're not constantly sat on the same seat in the same field, I suppose. You're getting up and down the dale and out and about as such.
When I moved here 21 years ago, they didn't have any combines, and the first year we bought 2 class combines, a wheeled one and a tracked one. The wheeled one was a rotary, it was a 470. The tracked one was a 460. I got the tracked one, but the technology is just out of this world now. You know what I mean? You've got the GPS steering that you didn't have back in the day, and it's just the comfort and for the operator. It's second to none, sort of thing nowadays. Benefit for the tracked, you get a very high capacity combine on a short wheelbase. We can get it, if it's a 12-foot gate, and as long as you can get straight on at it, you'll get through the 12-foot gate. But you've got a very high capacity combine going on that. Good ride, compaction obviously, fantastic in wet weather. You very rarely get stuck. We had the first track combine in the north of England when the first 460s that were badged at the time, 21 years ago. We got the first one that year. The second year was an exceptionally wet year, and I went all over. We went up to Morpeth on the borders, all over, cutting corn in the wet, and I only got stuck once. Very forward thinking here, we're always thinking of the next thing. Yes, we're doing this today, we're combining here 45 acres of oilseed rape, but we're already thinking, drilling, winter work, potato harvesting, things like that. We're already geared up and thinking ahead for next year already. The thing that makes me get out of bed on the morning is that no 2 days are the same. Absolutely not. you know, and in our environment it's quick changing. You know, you make a plan one night, well, by the next morning that plan's gone out the window. It's completely something different because it's either rained or, you know, we're trying to fight him upstairs, you know, all the time, and he doesn't want to play usually. But you've just got to adapt, and that's the thing that it makes you do it, basically. Well, I think. So anybody young starting today, I would say, if you love the outdoors, you love the variety, never 2 days are the same, different outlook every day, go for it. You know, if you're keen and you're willing to learn, it's a good lifestyle. The wife might tell you different.